Welcome to the Man Up channel. I am your host, Bob Buckland, and with me today is John Font.
Hello, how we doing?
And today we are taking a look back and remembering the once great plays Chop, formerly known as Chaz.
Summer of Love.
Oh, and what a summer it was.
It was quite the summer there at the Chop.
It had almost a full
the
month.
Rapper.
Oh,
what was
yes.
his name?
Raz Simone.
Yeah. Bringing the AKs.
What do you think it looks like for a former warlord to... What kind of jobs he can get? I mean, can you put warlord on your resume?
I would expect so. It means you're some sort of a leader or terrorist.
That's true. That's true. He can go work at the local gun store.
Or McDonald's and be a manager and just terrify your 16-year-olds that you hire. He was wearing red. I mean, if he'd have been wearing the right shoes, he could have been Ronald. Maybe.
Would you like one of my CDs with that?
Hold on, I'm going to get another terror tattoo on my eye. But all joking aside, Seattle decided to shut down the Chop Zone, and we were looking at the NPR story, and this was the reasons that they gave that they shut down Chop.
Well, they say it's because of the growing sense of unease here, especially at night. Local merchants had already sued the city to try to get police more present here. And then for the last 10 days or so, there have been a number of shootings. Two young black teenagers were actually killed in a couple of those shootings. Not really clear who's shooting whom yet, but there's a sense that things were kind of getting out of control here. And certainly that's what the police was saying. Chief Carmen Best, the police chief here, she's an African-American. She said even though she understood the calls for reform, she thought that, quote, enough is enough. She thought that the situation here was becoming brutal and lawless, and she sent a force of not only Seattle police, but also police from the neighboring suburb of Bellevue in here this morning to clear people out.
So they're making it sound like this was all, these two people got shot. We don't know who's shooting who, because obviously, who knows where the bullets went into, except the two people that are dead. I'm pretty sure the bullets were going from somewhere into them. But that's a whole nother story. We can talk physics later. But I think, along with Mr. Buckland here, I think that there was something else going on.
Oh, and what could that possibly be?
I think the summer of love migrated.
Oh, yes, let's talk about that. Yes, you all know the mayor, Jenny Durkin, there we go. The mayor, Jenny Durkin, went on record and say earlier when this first started that it's just going to be a block party, the summer of love. But what happens when that summer of love ends up at your doorstep, I wonder?
Maybe build the wall? Maybe.
We can't say that. That means Trump was right.
Oh, no. They showed up at her door. It's just incredible to me. And literally within 24 hours, she had everything set up to raid Chop and get rid of it because they endangered her family and endangered her pets and endangered her makeup.
Yep, the full story we are reading here is on the Seattle Times, is the local news. And it all started at the park. After that, there was a 100-man march, something like that, all the way up to the mayor's doorstep, which in itself is actually quite impressive since she is unlisted and then actually protected. That way, haters can't actually get her address.
And that's ridiculous. At one point, they were saying that they were going to publish every gun owner's address in New York because that was something that everyone should know, but we're not going to publish her address because she's afraid people might show up and protest.
Amazing how that double standard works.
It is. It is how we don't really care about the other people or the people that are in apartment buildings in the middle of this Chop Chaz, but when they show up at your door, you wish you had walls and armed guards, which are neither of which you're supposed to have, so... yeah. So she ended up getting everything together and raiding the place in under 24 hours with her and the police chief next door. And you said you watched some of that kind of happen, and
Yeah, I got to watch a video. There was a guy that was just standing on the very edge of the raid. He had not a podcast, but a GoPro going for roughly a half hour, and it was really intense. The cops that showed up looked like they were being escorted with the National Guards. They had armored vehicles. They had the SWAT gear. They were there to take back what the mayor there essentially gave away.
so they were there for business. They were hunting bear.
They were. We've talked about before going hunting, and one of the main things when you go hunter for the bigger games is you stand in a straight line. You make sure you know where your partners are at all time, and that's what these cops were doing. They would not move until everyone moved, and it was really impressive with the amount of force they were going in, and I really loved how they kept name-dropping Jenny Dunkirk, and she said it was okay. She said it was okay. You guys are gone.
And they kept telling that, huh? That was part of their speech?
It was. They kept telling that as of that day when she signed the papers, it made it illegal for them to be camped out in the park.
And I mean, the thing is when you show up at the mayor's house and kind of threaten her, she's going to mean business, and she's going to push that on somebody else, of course.
Well, I ended up pulling the stats, and we can say that Chaz or Chop was around for roughly 4 weeks. It was right around a month. And in that time, they had 4 shootings, which involved 6 people getting shot. The last one involving a 16 and a 14-year-old boy that, as far as I know, they both ended up dying. There were several accusations of sexual assault, and that's more than likely probably not even all of it. I mean, if you're having the cop-free zone, you're going to live with the consequences of not having the cops there to not be able to protect you, to get in a time to where you're not going to be the victim.
Well, it's like an athletic game if you had no referees. Eventually, it's just going to turn into the WWE, because if there's no referee, it's just whoever plays the worst or the best, or however you want to put that, like force against force. Whoever has the most force wins. So it's I'm glad that they took it back, and I understand that, and it's one of those things that I think really needs to happen.
No, you really should have watched the video, man. It's going to be a long time before that.
If you can find the link,
6 or 7 blocks.
Post it in the description. That way other people can watch it.
Yeah, I still got that pulled up. I can do that. But the amount of trash and debris, all the tents that are going to have to be cleaned up. Which it's been years since I've been in Seattle last. All the graffitis that was up there. I don't know. Was that art? I don't know.
They'll probably. I don't know. I would think they'd get rid of it, but I don't. Especially if it's inside
someone's
the police
going to pay
building.
for it.
Yeah. No, the citizens will pay for it. That's the sad fact of life, is the taxpayers are going to end up paying for all this.
Well, here's my thinking on it, is I really think that Jenny Durkin herself really needs to step up and pay for all the cleaning and repairing anything that happened, because she was the one. You know what? Her and the governor of Washington, I would say that those two really need to step up and start
and chip in
paying
and
for
help.
everything.
I would love to
chip
say
in,
that, but most politicians are just welfare recipients that are making a lot more money than the rest of us.
Pretty much. Which I have no respect for them. As of last Sunday, when the peaceful protests ended up at Jenny's house, there's a call for Jenny to resign, which at this point I would completely support, because she's not a leader. She is 100% not a leader, and is someone that is not qualified, in my opinion, to be in that kind of position of power.
Well, when you just let a group of people kind of run you over, you can't rule that way, especially when you have your chief of police saying, hey, we need to fix this problem or it's just going to get worse.
Well, the group of people, the mob mentality wasn't quite set in place at the time when this first started. The mentality of this, which you can see it with any top official Democrat leader, is that Trump is bad. Whatever he says, I'm going to do the opposite of. And it can't go on this way anymore. We have to be able to find the middle ground. If we can't find the middle ground, it is going to keep getting worse and worse. It doesn't matter which side of the coin you're on. We are both on this coin, just one side or the other. And the farther each side tries to get to control the power of it, the worse off everyone is going to be.
Oh, yeah. Whenever you have like a war zone, you always end up the people who are in the middle who are not a part of the conflict are the ones that get hurt more than anybody else. I mean, that's just true no matter where you go. I think universally, the civilians that are in between that are collateral damage, those are the ones that get hurt more than anybody else.
Well, there's an old quote that I really like. It's, when two elephants fight, only the grass gets hurt.
Yeah, it's very true.
For everyone that's in Seattle, I'm sorry for you. It's just sitting out here on the sidelines and watching. It has to be awful what you guys are going through right now. We are very sympathetic over here, and if there's anything we could do to help, we wish you guys let us know. We would definitely like us and the listeners out there. We would definitely like to help you out, try to get back to a sense of normality.
Yeah, because I mean, that's just when you have people like charging through your streets and taking over your businesses, and I don't know how you'd survive. Like, I don't. Well, I know I talked to a gentleman who lives in Minnesota, and he said you just plan for an hour to drive anywhere because you don't know whether there's going to be something there or not. So it's just really frustrating. So,
all right. So now that this is all over and Chaz is all done, is there anything profound and inspirational that's happened during this last month that you want to talk about?
Oh, absolutely, Bob. I got this thing from Yahoo Life where a man comes up with a bonkers invention that allows men to cut their own hair using a clipper and a vacuum cleaner.
You have me peaked, good sir. What is his invention?
He did not want to wait in line for hours and hours, so Dr. Philip Green, 54, had his brainwave. Why did they call it a brainwave? Anyway, he had a brainstorm, and basically he decided that he was going to try using scissors on his hair and do what the hairdresser normally does. And he thought, well, maybe I can use clippers, but he just made a mess all over himself. So he found some hot glue and hot glued a vacuum cleaner to his hair clippers so that he could trim his hair with one hand and not make a mess because it all went up there. And then he found out that if he put a twist tie on there, not a twist tie, zip tie on there as well, it helped up. He goes, it's been a common thing during lockdown. Everybody needs a haircut, he explains. So I started off trying to do what other people were doing. And then he thought, well, I've got clippers. Maybe that will be easier. But it had to work out that would be a more efficient way to get the hair from my head. It was difficult to coordinate with one hand. So that's when he came up with the idea of attaching vacuum cleaners to clippers.
Bravo.
I mean, this guy here, yeah. Dr. Green says his creation means you won't have to have anyone else cut your hair. You can just do it one-handed. And he has lots of pictures of him with his wonderful, wonderful invention. And he goes, I've always been an inventive mind, Dr. Green explains. I used to spend ages taking things apart. Over the years, I have now turned around and now I'm assembling things.
So the question is, in any of these pictures, does he have good hair?
I guess. I mean, he's not Jennifer Aniston. His hair looks a lot like mine. He's got a little balding spot in the back. But, yeah. Cut your own hair. Just super glue your vacuum cleaner to your hair trimmer and
give away all the trade secrets.
He said he can't patent it because it's just normal household items put together. Do you remember? Didn't they have something like that was like a as seen on TV vacuum clipper thing called like I don't even remember what it was called, but it was something like that, and I remember it being advertised on TV all the time. I wish I could remember what it was called.
I don't know, but if it doesn't exist, I really want it to.
Right? I mean, it looked really weird, and I remember as a kid watching this.
Buy it at Walmart for $19.95. Clippers not included.
See if I can look this thing.
I'm Brian Collins, thanking you for purchasing the Flowbee. Proper suction is the key to getting great-looking haircuts with no cleanup.
Oh, that could be taken.
All right. Yeah, it was the Flowbee. That's what it was. From the 90s. Had the commercial. Had the weird suction cup vacuum cleaner thing. Cut your own hair. Blah, 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 blah. And they had... It was basically a razor blade with a vacuum cleaner, and I don't know why that we have something like this. This guy has to use super glue, and he could have just bought the Flowbee. Anyway, Chaz and Chop is almost over. Is over. And the Flowbee is the best way to get your hair cut during social distancing.
Things I wish we would have known a couple months ago when COVID first showed up.
Would have been nice. Instead, we just didn't cut our hair.
Nope. Not once.
Those bald guys, they're so lucky.
Yes. Yes, we are. Oh.
Well, anything else you want to end with here, Mr. Bob?
Nope. Chaz, thanks for coming. Thanks for giving us the entertainment, at least for the month. With that, this is the Man Up channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'd love to know what you guys thought about Chaz as well. Whether you support them, hate them, whatever. We'd like to talk about it. This is the Man Up channel. We'll catch you later.
Peace.